Speaking of killing it, uh, Cowboy Bebop creator Shinichiro Watanabe wishes he could have killed it. Uh, that is the Netflix live action adaptation. He was able to stomach one scene before turning it off. And this was a pretty interesting interview because he then goes on to explain essentially that he's like, well, I guess it can't really be Cowboy Bebop if I'm not there to like make sure that it is, you know?
Hmm.
And he said, I guess at that point I realized that if I wasn't involved, it would not be Cowboy Bebop. Although I guess the value of the original anime is somehow far higher now. Right?
So I made fun of this, and I saw folks going, it's actually a really long article that's much more interesting. You should read it instead of just cherry picking this part. And it's like, yeah, I don't care about any of the stuff other than the part that's like the director was like, man, this new thing sucks ass. Because it's vindicating to me looking at it and saying, yeah, it did suck ass, didn't it?
But it was funny to read about the other bits because like he basically describes where that comes from and how he already was super jaded on Hollywood because he worked on the Animatrix. He was the director
Man.
of Kid's Story, right? And so his experience working on that was fucking rough. And he basically just goes back to how he'll always remember when he was first working on it that the original producer was totally chill and was like, you know, down to just let him rock and get the story out the way he wanted to. But then
Hmm.
that guy had to leave due to family issues, and so a new producer stepped in, who he names Spencer Lamb, like he calls out by name, and he says
Hmm.
this dude walked in and became one of the producers that was always trying to get their own credits in. So they kept
Hmm.
making requests and they kept making changes for nothing, and they all and also was very adamant that he was the gate to the Wachowskis, and you can't get anything to them without going through him. And he would have to be convinced before the Wachowskis would get to see anything. So had that whole thing go down, and he basically was just like, it got so bad that at a point he went to LA for recording sessions, and he told the team that if he saw the producer, he was just gonna punch him in the face. and,
It's on site.
and the producer just didn't show up, which is unheard of. So apparently, he's like the Animatrix just boiled him over with this entire concept. So yeah, Watanabe, you know, was upset there, and then it also just went on to point out something that I don't think I knew this, but fun little trivia about directors and adaptations.
Hmm.
Akira Toriyama
Hmm.
felt that Dragon Ball Evolution was such a disaster to the damage of to his legacy. That's what convinced him to come and produce Dragon Ball Super.
Great.
If
Just
not for
great.
that train wreck of a movie, he wouldn't have felt the need to make sure the Dragon Ball Super was actually guided by him. Holy shit, man.
Then why'd he sign off the rights to it?
I mean, I don't think I think from the jump there would have been a like, yeah, sure, pass it, like, you know, Boruto, pass it off, let someone else go, whatever, you're out of it. But at the very least, it seems for the whatever role he's playing in it initially, he wanted to make sure that it didn't get Dragon Ball Evolutioned. So that's hilarious. Um, yep, not surprised to hear that from Watanabe, all things considered, but he just came out and said it. Um,
Unbelievable.